Okay, so basically, the background for this poster lies in the fact that faces are salient visual stimuli that convey a wide range of social, biological, and emotional information. So, this has made them a source of interest across different research fields such as computer science, cognitive psychology, even developmental psychology. And a lot of these research use stimuli from face databases. Now, although faces are highly dynamic because of their continuity in the spatial temporal region, uh, most of these databases either consist of static stimuli, which are photographs, or dynamic stimuli, in which the dynamicity is derived from the presence of emotional expressions. So, to enable a more nuanced understanding of neural patterns of dynamic face perception, we need databases in which this influence of emotional expressions is controlled, and we basically look at faces in their most natural selves, right? So, to cater to this, we have developed the Sabancı University Dynamic Face Database, which provides a stimulus set in which this extraction of dynamicity and focus of dynamicity is possible without the influence of emotional expressions, because we have developed this database containing stimuli which with only neutral facial expressions and natural speech articulations. So basically, now getting to the database itself consists of 171 minute long audiovisual clips, which have been stored at 60 frames per second. And these stimuli were developed and recorded by 58 models who were students at Sabancı University. And each of the models recorded three videos vocalizing two structured texts, which were the Turkish national anthem and the speech to youth of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, who was a Turkish leader. And and the third video consists of a spontaneous speech. And all of these videos were articulated in Turkish with the neutral expressions. And these videos were recorded in a lab in Sabancı University with a Canon 6D Mark camera. And all of the other variables in the lab, including the illumination background, the camera that we use, and the other equipment that we use for recording, all of them were standardized and controlled across the videos. And after developing this database, what we did was we ran a validation experiment to verify the stimulus properties of our stimuli. So in this, we took 4-second snippets of each of the 170 video clips, and we presented them on mute in two different blocks. So basically, each of the trial in this experiment consisted of the 4-second snippet of the video and three questions about the neutralness, naturalness, and about the most prominent mental state in the video. And in this experiment, 176 Sabancı University students participated again, and the inclusion criteria that we used for their to whether include or exclude their data in the data analysis was a 50% confidence level in their answers. In addition to the subjective norming data, we also computed objective measurements of facial features, in which we measured pixel-wise differences of various facial features as per what was done in the Chicago Face database. And lastly, to analyze the speech properties, we calculated the mean articulation of the cycles of the structured texts, because we only asked the participants to articulate part of the national anthem and part of the speech, and we told them to repeat in cycles till they reached 1 minute. However, and then we calculated and we measured their properties. So over here, we found a significant difference in the mean articulation duration of these cycles between the two structured texts. However, the minimum and the maximum articulation duration range was pretty similar for both of them. And so we concluded that this mean difference was due to the difference in models' vocalization speed. As for the subjective norming data, the database was overall perceived to be above average in neutralness and naturalness, and the most common perceived mental state of the overall database was concentrated, followed by relaxed. So over here we can see that it wasn't stressed, or anything that denotes emotional expressions. And lastly, we ran an ANOVA to check for any differences between the two structured texts and the two types of questions, naturalness or neutralness. Over here, we only found a difference between the question type, which was like it was different for whether we were asking the participants about naturalness or neutralness of the stimuli. So, in conclusion, we believe that the Sabancı University Dynamic Phase Database provides a large sample of stimuli with controlled and reliable parametric variations, and this database will be freely accessible through email once it's published. And however, there are a few limitations, such as the unequal number of the male and female models. And lastly, we did not ask the raters for their perceived level of attractiveness of the models. So we believe that this might have had an effect on their concentration levels and on their perceptions of the speech. So that's the project. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, that's interesting. You guys use like a natural stimuli instead of like a static stimuli. So wait, how did you measure like how natural was this? That was just like a rating of the subjects.
Yeah, that was just measured through a 1 to 7 Likert scale. So we asked them how natural do you think it is, and then we presented the Likert scale.
Wait, what's a Likert scale?
So it's basically like a rating from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the greater the number, the greater the perceived naturalness and neutralness.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Great poster.